Hi, everyone. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Once again, Sunday night, and this time around, Bitcoin is actually pumping. It pumped Sunday, and it's pumping into the new day as well. So that's great news there. I was a little bit concerned about the CME futures gap happening over the weekend, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. So those are all good things. RSI is much lower. Bitcoin's at a similar price as before, which is good. So we'll take a look at what's going on in Bitcoin here. We'll take a look at also the miners that have reported. We had a lot of miners reporting last week. Towards the end of the week. So we have Bitdeer, BitDigital, Hive, Hut8, and then we're still waiting on Core to provide theirs. I'm guessing they're going to provide theirs tomorrow possibly. So we'll take a look at those numbers tomorrow. We'll also take a look at how the miners did against Bitcoin this past week. It wasn't a great week for the miners, nor was it a great week for the Bitcoin. But we'll get into all that, and you guys know this. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, You guys know the drill. Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty here, the fun part of it all. So Bitcoin, as you can see here on the chart, is on Sunday was up approximately 1.22%. On the new day for Monday, it's up another 1.67%. It's having a nice good rally here. My concern was if we pumped too hard on the Bitcoin on the regular chart going over to the CME futures, we would get a gap, but there is no gap, luckily. So sigh of relief there, because typically when we do get these gaps, and we do get them from time to time, they usually end up getting filled on the upside or to the downside, more so into the upside. If we get a gap on the upside, we will come back and fill that gap eventually. It's not always 100%, but majority of times we do get those things filled. So I was happy to see that we didn't get that gap here on it. And miners did also pretty good here on Friday. We talked about that on Friday's video, which we did as well, to cover just some of the miners, because otherwise I would have had like 7 miners to talk about today, which would have been a pretty long stream. Let's take a quick look at here the network hash rate on the miners as well. Let me update this, see where things are heading. Oh, okay, we're seeing a lot of hash rate coming online here on the 7-day average. This is as of October 5th. So that was as of yesterday, basically. We can see the network hash rate is up to 679 exahash on the 7-day average. If we look at the 30-day average, that's still trending right around 643. So I expect that to go up more as Bitcoin price goes up as well. Some of the older miners might be getting plugged in because it might be profitable for them to mine at that point as well. All right, so that's it on that one. And then looking at our monthly updates here for Bitcoin over the years, we can say that October has turned into a positive month for us now. It's up 0.65 on the month. I do expect that to get much better over time as things progress throughout the month here. Historically, October has been like one of the best months for us, along with February historically, if you look at it as well. So October is going to be a good one for us, hopefully, if things play out the same way. But let's get into the minor updates here really quick, and we'll get into everything else, and then your Q&A at the end. So Bitdeer announced its September 2024 production and operations update. It's going to be pretty short and sweet here. Operational update here. The Seal Miner A1 mass production remains on schedule for Q4 of this year and is expected to contribute 3.4 exahash to Bitdeer's proprietary hash rate. Deployment will align with energization of the Texas Hydro cooling conversion and Tidal Norway Phase 1 in late Q4 2024 and early Q1 2025. So they do have some growth still happening here, which is good. HPCAI, the TLM group successfully completed its feasibility assessment of Bitdeer's, I'm going to butcher this name, Massillon and Clearington Hannibal sites in Ohio, reporting largely positive results regarding their suitability for Tier 3 HPC-AI data centers due to the availability of land, power, fiber, and water resources. The company has commenced discussions with development partners and potential end users for these sites as well. So that's good news there. You guys can read the rest of the stuff. I'm just pointing out some of the interesting thoughts or interesting things that I saw here. Going down here to their operations here, self-mining stayed the same, right? 8.6 from August of last month. The only thing that they did is they switched some things around here. So self-mining got up to 8.1, and then cloud hash rate, which is basically they lease out their ASICs at that point, dropped a little bit here as a result of it, but it still all comes up to be the same thing anyways, right? So they're just kind of fine-tuning where possibly the profitability is at that point, and that's fine. But this is what they also include in all their BTC metrics that they mine here. So Bitcoin mines self-mining only. This is cloud hash rate and self-mining for a portion of that. That's 164 right now. And I think that's it on here. They have a bunch of details on their construction plans and everything else. I highly recommend you guys to read all of these, especially if you're invested in these guys. But nonetheless, read all of this stuff because there is a lot of good information in here about their progress and things like that. I'm not going to get into it here. I'm more interested just on the metric side of things for all these guys. But you can see their capacity, where it's at, where it's progressing, pending approval, right, in progress, in planning. So they do have a lot of capacity happening here, but it's not going to be until, estimated 2026, mid to late 2025 as well, mid 2025. So there's a lot of stuff happening here, but it's going to be not until later on next year into 26 as well. Okay. Let's take a look at the numbers that I do have here for Bitdeer really quick here. So Bitdeer, as of the last reporting, had about 126 million shares outstanding. Their market cap is about 923 million. Their performance over the last 12 weeks hasn't been great, actually. Compared to some of the other miners, they're actually underperforming here compared to them. But from 12 weeks ago, they're down 30%. From 8 weeks ago, they're up 13%. From 4 weeks, they're up 6%. But last week, they're down 13%. And about a lot of the miners were actually down last week as well. Current hash rate 8.6. I have future hash rate 11. They're saying they're going to add another, well, that would make sense, about 3 point something exahash right into it. That would get them right around 11 to 12 exahash potentially. And if they swap out some of the older miners, that might get them to like 11 potentially. Bitcoin hodl, they don't hodl anything here. Bitcoin production here has been coming down, and that is a result of their hash rate really kind of being flat, more or less, you could say, across the board. I got them to 8.6 here because they swapped the machines out from their proprietary or whatever they call it, part of it. But you can see that revenue has been also coming down as a result. The only thing that's going to really help them here in the next couple of months is Bitcoin going up in value. If they can maintain what they have been mining here more or less, get some machines installed here towards the end of Q4 that we're in right now, that could possibly help them out as well on it. Okay, Bitcoin sold value, they've been selling everything they mine. HODL is 0. BTC per exahash efficiency, pretty good here, 19.1, not too bad. Going down here to institutions and analyst ratings. A little bit of an increase in institutions from the month prior. Shares also increased a little bit here to 10.83 million, right? 12.6% owned by institutions. We still have the 6 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 0 holds, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price targets for the high stayed the same at 17. The average went down to 14.2. Down not too much, only 4 cents. The low stayed the same at $9 for them. Going across the board here to where the miners are, I added these miners here for them. Approximately 5,500 of these 200 terahash miners potentially, getting us to 8.6 exahash. And they were operating for about 26.6 days out of the month here, which is a little bit of an improvement over August numbers on it. Excuse me, and now that's something we would expect, especially as we get into the colder months. A lot of these guys do curtail a little bit more in the summer months than they do in the winter months. But yeah, that is it on that. If we look at the numbers here for them, I'm also looking at, on this one, I'm looking at the combination of their hosting and self-mining as well. It's an estimate, it's going to be accurate, but I think they should be somewhere between $13.18 if you look at their last 3 quarters in the current quarter that we're in. Plus, on the high side, 1978, they're at 730. I do believe that they are undervalued. And I think the reason for that is because a lot of their growth is not until, well, later on next year and into 2026. But even given that, I do think that they should be valued a little bit higher. And I have them only at a PE 10, right? If we look at the numbers here for September revenue for mining and possibly hosting as well, times 12, we got them between 1190 and 1785. So they're still undervalued, in my opinion, on this side of things. Okay, big thing for them. They have a lot of things going for them, a lot of power, megawatts coming online later on next year into 2026. They're also developing their own ASICs chips, their miners, and everything else. So they have a lot of stuff going for them, but it's not going to be until later on in 2025 sometime. Okay, that's the only big thing. The big thing I would have liked to have seen is more growth this year and early into next year as well, especially as we get into the bull run of things with Bitcoin. All right, so that's it for Bitdeer. Let's get into BitDigital here really quick as well. Theirs is going to be pretty short and sweet as well. So they announced their September production updates here. And here's what we have as far as updates. The company produced 51.5 BTC. Active hash rate was approximately 2.43 exahash, which is the same as it was last month. Bitcoin Treasury holdings is at 731. Ethereum is at 27,388. Fair market value of approximately 46 million for Bitcoin and 71 million respectively for Ethereum. So that puts them at about, what is that? 117.6 million, something like that, roughly on that. They do have a healthy balance sheet. They got plenty of cash and things like that. But that is it for their updates here. So let's take a look at them really quick. Where do I see them being and how have they been performing? So currently they have about 137 million shares outstanding. We'll get an update for all these miners once they report their quarterly results. The market cap right now is at 462 million. Performance for the last 12 weeks hasn't been also great. They're down 11% from 12 weeks ago, 14.6% down. Up from 8 weeks ago, and then they're up 17.4 from 4 weeks ago, and they're down 7.4% from last week. Current hash rate 2.4. Future hash rate was supposed to be about 2.8. They were talking about getting to approximately about 6 exahash by the end of the year. Those conversations and those updates have pretty much gone dry. It doesn't look like they're going to be updating anything this year, or maybe even next year. Who knows? I think they're just concentrating more on the HPC business for them going forward. And with that, I could possibly see them getting out of the Bitcoin mining in general, especially if they can get more customers there and everything else for HPC. HODL 731, that's valued about 44.8 million right now. Bitcoin production here you can see has been coming down, and that's a result of their hash rate not growing and actually decreasing here, which you can see on this chart down to 2.4. Revenue from their monthly mining has been coming down as well. So they're generating actually now more from HPC than they are from Bitcoin mining, with probably better margins right now until Bitcoin reaches over 100,000. At that point, it might be making a little bit more here on Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin HODL position, you can see at times where they buy HPC components and servers and things like that. They sell quite a bit of their Bitcoin HODL to fund that, and then they start increasing the HODL as well. We saw that again here happening in June, and then it's been increasing since then as well. Okay. How many Bitcoins they sold here? BTC per exahash efficiency, really good here at 21.19 right now for the month. That might, I would have to look at it, but I'm thinking this might be like one of the best ones here for the month of September here. Bitcoin sold value, they sold just barely anything here this past month. And then going down here to their institutions and analyst ratings, institutions stay the same, 175. And that should have been one less zero. It's not 638 million shares. 67.38, so about, 150,000 more shares being owned by institutions. Percentage went up to 46.31. We still have the 2 strong buy ratings, 1 buy rating, 0 holds, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price target stays the same for the high at $6 and $5.83 for the average, and the low stayed the same at $5.50 for them. Going down here to their uptime for the month, I'm at 29.78 days based on what they reported here. So that is really, really good here. Really good uptime across the board for all these machines. They're definitely getting the most out of them right now as it is. Going back up here to our estimates as far as where I think they probably should be valued at. This is solely on Bitcoin mining up top here. Down below, we actually use the HPC revenue as well. And for the last 3 quarters in the current quarter that we're in, I'm in between 350 and 525. They're at 337 right now, and that's a P of 15. I probably should drop that down because there's just not much growth of Bitcoin mining themselves. So I think right now they are pretty fairly valued based on that. Looking at those numbers on it. Okay. If we look at also the HPC revenue here, I have between 318 and 477. This is based on September's revenue numbers for Bitcoin, plus about 4.1 million that they're getting for HPC side of things here. So I'm between 318 and 477. That makes me think that they are kind of fairly valued right now for their operations, as far as what they're generating here potentially. And that is based on last quarterly financials for that one, which was the revenue for it. So I probably should up that. Let's up that right now really quick. Divided by 12, let's do this. Plus, was it 4 million, roughly 4,200,000, roughly, something like that. That should help out there. Did I do that wrong? Did I have that? Probably add one more zero here. Let's see. Okay. That's 500. Yeah, it's not. They're not getting $507 million in revenue. Oh, let's see here. Let's do this. Plus, right, 4200. I need to take out 10. Okay. Wow. What is up with my math here? I have an extra parentheses. Okay. Let's see here. 87. So 319, 479. Pretty much the same where it was a little bit before. So they're pretty fairly valued on it. On those things. Big thing for them, right? I keep saying this, they're asset light, but they have a lot of coin with Ethereum and Bitcoin as well, which gives them a large balance sheet on those 2 items. They also have a lot of cash still, so they're doing really well financially. They do have a nice customer there that's generating roughly 100 million for them a year. They're also working on another one that could turn into possibly 700 million over the next couple of years down the road if things work out for them. And My only concern here is with Digital is that they are not growing their Bitcoin mining side of the business, part of it. And my concern on that is because once Bitcoin starts really racking up and going down much higher, is that they're not going to catch that bid up as well as some of the other miners. And then also with the BTC, the HPCI business part of it, the only way the stock is going to go up is if they generate or increase their customers. So if they grow their customer base, that's the only way the stock's going to go up on it, because you're pretty much set in for, whatever it is, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever those contracts are in place. And you need additional contracts then to grow basically your revenue. Whereas with Bitcoin is more volatile. Yes, you're going to be going down in price and you're going to be going up tremendously as long as you're doing really well on your operations and things like that. So that's my concern there, that this stock may be a slow trader, might not be as volatile as Bitcoin, meaning that you're not going to get the same possible gains with some of the other plays that are still growing their Bitcoin mining side of the business. That's my concern there. Okay, so that's Digital. Let's get into our next one here. Next one's going to be on Hive. So Hive provides their operational updates here for the month of September. They mined 112 Bitcoin mined. HODL portfolio reaches 2.6 thousand or 2,604, which is good. And then they're ending the month with that 5.6 exahash per second, which is the same that they had in August as well. And that's basically it. Then you got some executive insights, Sweden's grid balancing contribution, financial and operational preparedness. Talk about the ATM that they got for 300 million here. And that's basically it. You guys can definitely read this. I'm not going to go over it all here. But let's take a look at Hive here really quick as well. On this one, we'll get into Hot 8 and we'll be almost done. So Hive has about 170 million shares outstanding, market cap 371 million. They are, I think, one of the smaller ones. They are the smaller ones here that we cover on these 12 miners. Eventually, I may end up taking out, I don't know exactly when, but Bitdigital might be getting dropped from these guys here, especially if they don't grow their Bitcoin mining side of the business going forward. But we'll keep an eye on them. But Hive right now, 371 million market cap. Their performance over the last 12 weeks has not been great either. They're down almost 10% from 12 weeks ago, up slightly from 8 weeks ago, almost 4%. And from 4 weeks ago, they're up 3%. And last week, they were down 5.3%. Current hash rate, 5.6. Future hash rate, around 6 exahash roughly. They are stating that they want to get to about 12 or 13 exahash sometime next year as well. Right? But that's just basically keeping up with the network hash rate. They want to maintain 1% of that, and that's kind of what that's going to get them, I believe. HODL, 2,604. That's valued at 160 million roughly right now. It is 42.92% of their market cap as it is, so they're not being valued on their operations. They're being valued more on their HODL, it seems like to me, on those things. BTC production here has been coming down. It's kind of flat over the last 2 months. It's the same as it was in August, so that's not too bad. They at least stayed the same at that one instead of dropping down. Monthly mining revenue also flat here, actually up a little bit here from August. So that's a little bit good there, but it's been flat definitely after the halving event. Bitcoin HODL has been growing, which is nice to see. And then their hash rate here, they had a little bit of growth here, it looks like, from August, not much, about, 350 petahash or so. So that's slightly good there. How much they sold here, they've been selling on average around 70, 80 Bitcoin or so over the last several months. BTC per exahash efficiency also pretty good here at 19.82 on that one. Going down here to institution side of things, we can see the institution stayed the same at 128 shares, went up a little bit here to 37.18 million. And then percentage owned went up to 32.17. We now have actually 6 strong buy ratings for them, 4 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperform, 0 sells. Price targets are $9 for the high, $6.30 for the average, and the low at $5. So those all stayed the same. Actually, the average went down a little bit here, but those all stayed the same. Looking at their operational uptime here on the miners that they have added in there, I'm about 26.78 days roughly operating, more or less. They could be up a little bit higher depending when they install these machines down here. So somewhere around there, I would say somewhere between 26 and 28 on average, based on my calculations on that. And then where do I see them as far as being undervalued or overvalued? I currently think that they are undervalued. Based on the last 3 quarters, current quarter that we're in, I'm in between 493 and 739. That's with a P of 10. They're at 317 right now. They are undervalued from where they really should be. And then looking forward to the next 12 months, using the numbers from September for revenue times 12 months, I'm in between 346 and 519. That still leads me to believe that they are undervalued on this one. what can I say about Hive? Hive is a great operator. They've been through these cycles at least twice now, I think. They know what they're doing. They're not the shiny rock that's out there with the rest of these guys here. They don't want to be the biggest miner out there. They just want to do their thing. They want to be at 1% of the network hash rate. They're happy maintaining that, and they're great at that. Will they go up with Bitcoin going up? Yeah, I think so, because they have just great operations and things like that. They also have a nice HODL position here, so that should be a benefit to them. But will they outperform some of the other miners? Probably not. Okay. So that's just my 2 cents on that one. Let's get into Hut 8 here. Hut 8 is also going to be pretty short and sweet, so they provide their operational update for September. You guys are more than welcome to read the top part of it all here, and I can't highlight these because they provide these as images. So there's no way to highlight these numbers for us, but here's what we have here. Deployed hash rate is about 5.6 exahash. Bitcoin produced was 85. This is also with their joint venture on that. If we look at the footnotes here, 1 and 9 here, that's kind of what tells us on that. They also talked about the host agreement with Bitmain for 15 exahash next year, and the possibility to buy that out if they see fit, which I think they should have done that already. But yeah, I mean, you guys are more than welcome to read all this stuff here. So let's see where we got Hut 8 right now on things. So Hut 8 has about 91 million shares outstanding. Performance over the last 12 weeks, market cap about 1.1 billion here. Performance hasn't been great either. They're down 29% from 12 weeks ago. They're up just slightly 4.2 from 8 weeks ago. From 4 weeks ago, they're up 6.9. And last week, they were down 8.1%. Current hash rate 5.6. They were supposed to get 7.3 exahash, but they basically unplugged a bunch of the older miners, probably the problematic miners as well. They're down to 5.6 now. There is not really much growth here happening for them for self-mining that has been reported yet. So they're pretty much fully installed here. Bitcoin HODL, they have a huge HODL, 9,106 Bitcoin. That's valued at 557 million right now. So look at this, HODL to market cap, 50% of their market cap is their HODL value right now. So not being valued for their operations, whether it's their managed services, managed hosting, or anything else that they provide on it. You can see that their Bitcoin mining production has been coming down. Even before the halving event, it's just been on a downward trend here. And then monthly Bitcoin revenue has also been kind of sporadic, I guess you could say. May, after the halving event, was down 5.9. They were up in June here, and then they were down again. Bitcoin HODL has been maintaining kind of flat here, so they're not really adding to their HODL position for the most part. It seems like they're using that to fund operations, pay for things like that. So we'll have to wait and see what their quarterly results are like to see what those profit margins are on there. Hash rate, you can see here, has also been kind of flat, more or less, over the last couple of months. BTC per exahash efficiency, pretty low, 13.01. And going down here to the ratings, institutions did increase a little bit here to 233. Shares actually decreased to 53.6 million here, and percentage owned went down to 28.9, or is that supposed to be 58? Because they were at 59. If they got 50, yeah, it should be 58.91. That was my bad. 58.91. We still have the 3 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 0 holders on performance, 0 sells. Price targets are still for $22. For the high, average is 16.33, so that's up a little bit, and the low is down, same actually, 13.5 on that one. All right, going down here, based on the numbers that we do have here for them, I have them operating for about 18.54 days. So, and the reason for that is they have a lot of miners that are older, right? On average, I think I have them at, what is the average here? Minus petahash, I would have to look into it, what that actually comes out to be. It's like 97 exahash, not exahash, terahash, sorry. 97 terahash per miner on average, roughly. And you can see here how many of the older machines they had here prior to that as well, 93, 96, 87, some 77s as well. So they have not updated anything on that side of things. All right, so they're probably shutting things off when it's not profitable and plugging it back in when they are profitable. Going up here to where do I see them at? I have them actually right now, and this is just for Bitcoin mining side of things, between 628 and 942 based on self-mining, and this is based on the last 3 quarters and the current quarter that we're in right now. If we look at the numbers here for the current month, they should be between 294 and 441, and that is for self-mining. That's not including anything that they generate from managed services, managed hosting, any of that stuff in there as well. So they're tough to kind of figure out because we don't really get the revenues updates on the managed hosting and things like that. Monthly, we get it quarterly usually. And I may have to add that in there going forward, but we'll see how they do, if they do anything with their Bitcoin mining side of things for self-mining, if they end up growing that instead of going all in on hosting. But that is it. The big thing for them is I would like to see them grow their more self-mining side of things, because I do believe that that is much, much more profitable, especially in the bull run. But they have their ways of doing things. We'll see if it works out for them. All right, so that's it on Hut 8. I think that's it. Yeah, we covered all the miners that we wanted to cover. Let's take a quick look at the weekly here for the miners as well. See how they did against Bitcoin, and we'll get into you guys' Q&A side of things here. So here's a chart that we always look at from 52-week lows. Those are the top numbers here. And then how far away they are from the 52-week highs. Those are the bottom numbers, the red ones here. So TeraWulf Core have been doing the best here. IREN's up nicely as well as well as Cleanspark and Bitdeer. Bitcoin's only up 133%, so you can see all those guys in the last 52 weeks have done better than Bitcoin for the most part. More so on TeraWulf and Core, right? TeraWulf has, the reason it's done really well here recently is because of the potential of HPC AI, and there's just a lot of hype around it right now, and especially TeraWulf itself. So that's why it's catching a nice bid right now. But if they don't materialize on that somehow, get a contract in place or something, that stock is probably going to take a dip here, I would imagine. And then going down further from Bitcoin here, we got Bitfarms, Marathon, Hut 8, BitDigital, Cypher, Hive, and Riot being only up 23%. Riot has been the worst performer here in the last 52 weeks out of these guys. And then you can see how far away they are from the 52-week highs. Quite a few are away, quite a bit. Cleanspark's down the most here, 61%, along with Riot, 58%, and everybody else, as you can see that. And then when we look at the weekly performance here, we can see that Core, Riot, and Cypher were basically at 0 at that point. IREN was only down 2%, Hive was down 5%, along with Cleanspark. Bitcoin was actually down 6% in the week. Marathon was also down 6%, BitDigital down 7%, Hut 8 down 8%, Bitfarms down 10%, TeraWulf 11% down, and Bitdeer down 14% on the weekly here. Looking at the 4-week chart, things look a little bit different. Bitcoin's up 2%. Only ones that have not performed better, or at least the same as Bitcoin, are Marathon's only up 1%, and Bitfarms is down actually 1% from 4 weeks ago. If we look at the 8 weeks, well, at that point, things changed definitely. Bitcoin's up 5%. You got Cleanspark underperforming, Bitfarms underperforming, Riot underperforming. Who else? Hive, Marathon, Hut 8, and then the other ones that did outperform were Bitdeer, TeraWulf, BitDigital. Who else? IREN, Cypher, and Core. And then going to the 12 weeks chart, we can see that pretty much everything is down from the 12 weeks ago except for Core. So Bitcoin's down 7%, but some of these guys like Cleanspark were down 40%. For Cleanspark, I think it was just because they announced the additional shares they're going to be adding to their corporate governance or the corporate structure that they have. So instead of having 300 million shares to use for ATMs and other things like that, they're going to have 600 million shares. That's being voted on here in October as well. I'm assuming that's going to probably pass. I don't see why it wouldn't pass on it, but that's kind of where we're at. And then looking at the table here for the weekly, we can see we've had a pretty green or a pretty red week here for the most part on the miners. Prior week to that was much better, and then we have kind of mixed. But I think things will definitely turn around here for us going forward, especially in October and November. December's going to be a little dicey month, I think. But it still should be in the green, but maybe not as much as we anticipated being. But we'll see. Okay, so that's it. That's everything that I have to share with you guys, show to you guys. And you guys know the drill here. Patreon members get access to all that stuff. Link is down in the description of each video. It's $8 a month. There might be a couple spots, but in 4 and 5, and that's my sales pitch. And the Patreon members are a great support there. They definitely help me out to be able to do this and kind of keep my wife happy as well. Okay, so that's it there. So great appreciation to everybody that's a Patreon member and a YouTube member as well. Thank you for your continued support there. All right, let's get into the Q&A side of things, and we'll call it a day. See what else we got going on here. Let me take a quick gander, see what's going on with Bitcoin here. See, it hasn't started crashing yet, and it hasn't. Still holding pretty well. All right, let's see. Let me catch up with some of the questions, comments that have been already posted, if I see them, and we'll get into the Q&A. Okay, you guys have been busy there. Okay, all right. Think it's catching up. Yep, okay. Okay. All right. I know your favorite miners are, but who do you think are the most undervalued? Maybe the two most undervalued, please. Well, depending which way you want to look at it, let's take a look at the enterprise metrics here on the miners here really quick. That usually tells me pretty well which ones are kind of, in general, undervalued. At that point, I see right now we have current hash rate. Based on current hash rate, we have Hive and Riot, right, followed by Iris. And then if we look at future hash rate growth, we got Cleanspark, Riot, and Hive. Hive, like I've talked about before, not much growth into next year, right? They want to be at 1% of the network hash rate, which is fine. So those are the ones that I would look at that are potentially more undervalued than anything else on it. Okay. Let's go back here. Okay. How does applied digital play into Bitcoin mining? Not sure. I don't cover them. So I'm not sure. Okay. Hisab, why invest in the miners and take all kind of additional industry and company specific risks instead of making another fully BTC sync move, MicroStrategy looking long BTC 3x, etc. That's, yeah, I mean, miners are more risky, so I will agree with you there. But it is like a proxy play. It's a bigger proxy, so you might have actually a more upside potential with these miners, depending when you get into them. They are more volatile, so they do go up more. They do come down even more. And you really need to know what you're getting into at that point, as far as which miners are doing really well, you know, financially, operationally, all those things, growth, those all things matter. And yeah, so you probably safer going with Bitcoin and MicroStrategy than you are with going with Bitcoin miners. But the Bitcoin miners in a bull run will outperform those two as well. Okay, Mark says, okay, yeah, Applied Digital does hosting for miners, but doesn't actually do any mining. That's kind of what I thought it was. Question, people are saying that it will be alt season soon, but I can't get them in my regular investment account. Do you think Bitfarms and Cleanspark will give me great returns these 12 months? So not to worry. I think so. Yeah, I mean, altcoins, I've gotten into altcoins before because people were talking about how well they do, and a lot of them do great, depending on when you got into them. But a lot of people also get rug pulled on those. So I've gotten away from those pretty much as much as I can. I still own some, but I'm getting rid of those this cycle just to be done with them. But yeah, I do believe like Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms, a lot of the big guys are going to do very, very well this next 12 months. Let's see. Seb, should Japan join BRICS? BRICS is, what is that? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and somebody else. I can't remember the other one. Should they join? I don't think they will join. They're, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Japan is a NATO ally. I believe. Hey, Seb, do you think BitDigital can 8x from here? That's a tough one. I don't see it, but I could be wrong on that. Seb, you must be loving this CME gap forming on the weekend here for BTC. I don't see it actually. If we look at Bitcoin, and we talked about this here in the beginning of the live stream, I am not seeing it here, unless I'm missing something on the daily. You can see where it closed off on Friday, and we're up to, I mean, it just kind of started out on Monday, the same thing here. Yeah, it's showing Monday. Unless there's something that I'm missing, I'm not seeing a gap. But if we do get a gap, I wouldn't like it because I know eventually we'll probably come down and fill that gap. So I'd rather not have it. I'd rather be like it is right now, unless you have a different chart that you're seeing a gap on it. But right now I'm not seeing that gap. All right, go back here. Besides Bitcoin going up, what are the next catalysts for IREN and Cleanspark to help move? Continuation of their growth, right? IREN's getting to 31 exahash, Cleanspark's getting to like 37, 38, maybe even 40 exahash by the end of the year. That's going to be a catalyst for them as well. And then we need to see what their plans are going to be for 2025. So if they come out, they're again, you know, doubling their hash rate again or something like that, that could be another catalyst for it going forward. Let's see. My average is about 2.5 on Bitfarms and 10 on Cleanspark, so I'm still down now. Do you think I will gain a lot more a leverage return over just holding FBTC, the spot Bitcoin ETF that I'm up over 50% already? Yes. So you're not too far away from where they are right now, especially if Bitcoin starts ripping up higher. I do believe that you will get a better return there. I'm seeing those miners should do at least a 3 to 5x, some maybe more. But yeah, I do believe that in the next 12 months you should do much better. Let's see. Armin says, awesome information as always. I don't know why your voice volume is very low. Is it low? Everything else is looking good. Maybe because I was farther away on it from the microphone. Let's see. My average on Riot is 11.7-ish. Okay, so you're down. What are you down? You're down, what is that, about roughly 30-40% or something like that on it. Be patient. Hopefully they can fix their operations to have much better uptime and also install more hash rate. That should pump the stock up much higher, I believe. Okay. I'm heavily loaded with Bitfarms Moon when I'm expecting in the next 12 months. But is the overhang on Riot still holding so many shares, 19% of their shares there? Is that going to deter people from getting into it? Maybe. Bitfarms also needs to install their hash rate to get to 21 exahash by the end of the year. They're behind their schedule to getting to 12 exahash, so we need much better operational updates from them going forward. Okay. Private says these next 12 months should be a great opportunity to profit and really grow my retirement account. So I appreciate hearing your thoughts on how to best set up my portfolio to grab this opportunity. You're very welcome there. Yeah. Miners will be boring until BTC moons. Hopefully after the elections, things pick up. We might be even before then. We'll see. Good evening. Is high percentage of institutional investment a good thing for a stock and its performance? I believe so. We're seeing more institutional investments this year than we have in the prior cycles, which is a good thing because the institutions are going to be pumping the stocks, I think, as well. Okay. Private says, I may look to sell some Bitfarms and Cleanspark in order to add IREN, but I'm waiting for a good time to do so. And it seems that IREN won't likely make a higher multiple than these two anyway. Do you agree? It's going to be close on those as far as multiples. They're going to be, I would expect possibly, if everything was right in the world and everything worked out the way I would expect it, I would expect Bitfarms actually to outperform these guys because they're just so beaten down. But that doesn't mean that's going to translate into actual multiples. For that reason, I do think that maybe IREN and Cleanspark will do a little bit better, or at least the same as Bitfarms will do going forward. Especially if Bitcoin goes to 100,000, 150,000, maybe beyond that. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Mark says, weird observation. Robinhood has BTC at 63,900 and Ethereum at 25. Webull has BTC at 63,300 and Ethereum at 2,500. Why the difference in price? I haven't seen them off each other by this much before. That I don't know. Depending on what clearinghouse they use, maybe is that part of it. I'm not sure. Zach says, hi Sebastian, thank you for all the info you keep giving us. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in and watching and posting as well. Thanks so much for Private says, thanks for your thoughts and trying to help. Yeah, I keep saying this. You guys also teach me a lot as well with your questions. You guys make me think, which I love. So thank you so much for coming in here and watching and posting your questions and thoughts and comments. Okay, what's up with CORZ? Why is it superior to every other stock? Strange. CoreWeave, the deal for 12 years. They're going to be generating 4.7 million in profit on it. So that's what's up. Okay. Let's see. Does Core have AI customers or not? They do not have an AI customer. They have I would call it a small hyperscaler with CoreWeave potentially, because that's kind of what CoreWeave wants to get, is to become a hyperscaler. So I would call it that. Basically, what Core is doing is they're going to be leasing out their infrastructure, power, all that stuff, and they're going to charge CoreWeave for it. And CoreWeave will have HPC AI customers, or they're going to be doing their own thing. I just don't know what their plans are yet. Let's see. Benjamin says, I guess TeraWolf investors are disappointed that they sold their nuclear site mine. They had very cheap electricity Bitcoin mining. Yeah, they did, but it wasn't theirs, right? It was part of a joint venture. They had 25% of it. So, and they did have very cheap electricity there, like 2 cents or something like that per kilowatt hour. So maybe they do have something in pipeline for an HPCI customer. That's why they sold it now, so they can build out their second data center as well. And that's the only thing I can think of there. Do you think miners will stop diluting while they sell their BTC during the bull cycle? If they sell their BTC, because we've seen it before with MAR not selling. We've seen it with Hut 8 not selling in the bull cycle. They just round-tripped it all the way through to the bear market again and kept diluting shareholders because of it. There have been a couple couple miners that have done it. Cleanspark has done it, where they've been selling. Others like Hive as well. There's probably other ones as well that I'm not thinking of right now. But those have done it where they're selling in the bull run. And that should result, especially if they have a nice healthy balance, they sell a portion of it. Let's see, they sell half. They could dilute less in a bear market than they probably would if they didn't do that. Let's see. I wonder if Bitdeer will sell chips to other companies, and if true, would that increase their value? Depending on what their profit margins are, yes, on it. But I think they are going to be looking to sell those as well. I think they've sent some of those units out for testing to other miners as well. So they are trying to break into that market as well. Because, I mean, you really want to have scale there. So if you can build, millions of machines or something like that, it's much better than just building several 100,000 machines for yourself. Okay, Mark says South Africa is the S in for BRICS. Okay, so that's the one. Yeah, that's the one I was missing. Hi, Sebastian. What do you think IREN top will be this cycle, $70, $80 in the CORZ? That's kind of what I'm thinking. But that's Bitcoin going to like 150, 180,000, maybe a little bit more than that, somewhere around there. If it goes past that, then we could be even higher than that as well. Let's hear. October 2020 Bitfarms was 25 cents and 25 cents, 50 cents. Then it hit an all-time high at 858. Yeah, but you can't look at that cycle because a lot of those guys went up 70x. 70x and less than that. So this time around, they have a lot more shares out as well. All these companies do as well. So this is going to limit the growth that they have for the most part, I think. So it's going to be really tough for some of these guys to get back to their all-time highs, prior all-time highs at least, unless Bitcoin really starts, going to like 200,000 plus maybe. So yeah, can it do the same multiple? I doubt that. It went down to a low this cycle of, what was it, 60 cents, 50 some cents. If you were buying at that point, that was probably pretty good. But yeah. Penny Ether, hi Penny. Thanks for coming in here. Which miner is closest to having their ATM depleted? Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't keep track of that usually. We usually get updates on it when they do the quarterly results. That's coming up here in the next 6 to 8 weeks from these guys. But I don't know. Let's see. Dynamite says there is no gap because BTC starts going up after 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is okay. We're technically on Monday according to CME futures. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing, the same thing. Let's see. Naked Empire says, Seb, I'm down 30% on Cleanspark, but not worried. Good. If you can, dollar cost average in some more, whether it's Cleanspark or any of these guys. I was down in the bear market on Cleanspark like 60, 70% at one point. Bitfarms was down like 80%, almost 90% on them, but I just continued to buy into them, and I'm still in the green right now because of that. Roger says, IREN needs to raise money soon. Potentially, yes. So they will probably be diluting some more if they haven't been already diluting. What are the largest single day percentage gains you've experienced with BTC? I've seen like 10%. I think the highest was like around 12%, if I'm not mistaken. This is going back to like 2017 though. Let's see. LTD Lawn Services says morale is low in Bitfarms. Yeah, I can see why, right? They haven't come up to their 12 exahash yet. They've been behind the ball on that one, and we got to see them get to 21 exahash by the end of the year. Let's see. Para says, I have over 80,000 shares. I love loading when morale is low. Did the same with Wolf. Nice. Yeah, that's kind of what I've done also. Okay, let's see here. I hope that Kamala doesn't get in specifically because of her potential heavy hand on Bitcoin. The do-gooders hate when people don't go by their plan. Yeah, I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter. Like I've said before, we've had Republicans and Democrats in the White House before. Bitcoin has done its thing. And we've had pretty heavy hand from Biden administration, but Bitcoin still went up to a new all-time high before the halving event. That's never happened before. So that's why I say it doesn't really matter to me. Let's see. Mark says, like the video, guys. Yes, if you guys enjoy the video, hit the like, hit the thumbs up button. Definitely helps. Let's see. Do you see Cleanspark becoming the #1 public miner in hash rate? They're definitely going to attempt to get there. They're not too far behind. Well, they have enough miners purchased to get to 50 exahash, which is the same as Marathon right now. We don't know what Marathon's plans are into 2025, nor do we know the plans for Cleanspark right now. But they are definitely nipping at the heels of Marathon here. Okay. What is the lowest possible price Cleanspark and IREN touches at BTC 150,000? At that point, I think the lowest price would be like $30, unless something massive happens. But I would think maybe even higher than that. That's kind of where I would see it. What would be Cleanspark's price by December end of this year? Depending where Bitcoin's at. Bitcoin's up to, let's say, around 100,000. I could think these guys could be up 3x, roughly, give or take. You know. Okay. Is Riot expected to keep increasing its efficiency hash rate? Yes. As they get more machines plugged in, their efficiency is going to improve. Okay. Question: if Bitdigital is using Ethereum to get BTC, could growth in both cryptos make up for lack of current growth in exahash? The trajectory could be exponential. No. No. Yes, they are getting more Ethereum from the staking of Ethereum. And if they're buying Bitcoin for it or whatever, paying operations, whatever it might be doing, or just adding more Ethereum. I don't think so. Their hash rate, I mean, I just don't see it. I could be wrong on that, but I just don't see it. Okay. I believe miners will front run Bitcoin this week. I'm kind of thinking the same thing, but we'll see how tomorrow ends up. We've seen it before where Bitcoin's up on Sunday, but then we're down on Monday, or at least trading hours on Monday. Okay. Hi, Seb. Have you heard an interview from Jason concentrating on their uptime and efficiency? Any thoughts? I'm talking about the interview with from Bryce and Anthony. Yes, I've watched it. And yeah, he's saying that even in October, it shouldn't be where they're expecting, but you know they're working on it. So it's like, okay, they're working on it. They stated early in the year that they should be about 95% uptime on average for the year. We haven't seen it yet. We need to see it. And I think that's why the stock is down quite a bit. Okay. Which week is the Golden Cross coming, Seb? Remind me about the Golden Cross. Is that when is that the 50-day move crosses over 200-day or something like that? Is that the one? Can't even remember those things. I'm not a TA guy, so bear with me here. Let's go to the chart here on Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now. We got the 50 down here, which is getting close to the 100. We've seen this happen before where those two flip. And like I said, last time we saw this was back in October of last year, actually. We talked about this in a video on Friday, I think, and on Thursday as well. Right here it is. In October of last year, we saw the 50-day flip the 100-day simple moving average, and things went, well, didn't go really parabolic, but we did go from basically 26,000, 27,000 all the way up to 73,000. Before topping out here, right? So it was definitely a nice run up here. We went basically, what would that be? 2x, 3x roughly when that happened. If we go 3x from where we are right now, we're looking at 180 some thousand, 180, 190,000 roughly on that. If we do a 3x from here. Okay. So something to definitely look forward to that. Okay. Go back here. Okay. Hi, Seb. I'm holding Cleanspark at $15 average. I have got limited cash, DCA into Cleanspark or buy IREN. What you would do? Thanks for all your analysis. Let's see here. Well, let's take a look at where IREN's at right now in price. Let's take a look at the combination of those two. So IREN right now is at $8.68. Cleanspark now is at almost $9.50 or something like that. They are both kind of bouncing off of their fib retracement here at 0.236, more so IREN than Cleanspark is at least. So here's the thought process on this. This is the way I would look at it. Cleanspark has HODL, IREN does not. IREN has HPC, possible business there. Cleanspark does not, right? So those two kind of maybe wash themselves out, maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe not if Bitcoin starts really rallying up higher, the HODL could go for more. So I would still give maybe a benefit there, but given where Cleanspark is at and number of shares that they have, and where IREN is, the number of shares they have, I think maybe IREN could go up maybe more, maybe like 1x more than Cleanspark potentially. But I have Cleanspark at such a low price. My average is like $3 and something. So I'm willing to hold on to that one and ride it up much higher. And I was buying a lot of it. And IREN, I think, could get to like $70 to $80 maybe this cycle. So we're still looking at maybe, what is that, roughly from where we are right now, an 8x, somewhere around there, maybe, depending where Bitcoin goes. Whereas Cleanspark, I think, could possibly get to like 60, 70. So we got about a 7x on that one. So that's why I'm saying maybe one more x potentially on it. But you just never know. All it takes is just one good story that, Cleanspark's going to be growing to 100 exahash next year, and things are off to the races. So, and it could be the same thing for IREN. IREN comes out, says that they have a HPC customer there. That's, several $1 billion over the next couple of years. You just never know on those two things. So, that's why I'm diversified in these guys a little bit, and not just into one, and because you just never know, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you definitely bought a little bit higher on Cleanspark. And if you have limited cash, I would maybe get into IREN as well, right? Kind of balance it out a little bit. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, Private says, guys, start hitting the like button, please. How many likes we got? We got 53. That's not too bad. But yeah, if we can get to 100 likes, that would be great. How many have we got here? We got 162 you guys watching. Mark says, Seb, they have talked about Bitcoin National Reserve Asset. What are your thoughts? Does the U.S. starting hodling and buying BTC in the next 12 months? You need to change the laws on that. That's only going to be done through Congress. So you really need, if you get Trump in there in the presidency, you probably need at least one of the Senate or the Congress to be Republican-led as well. If you don't have that, you're probably not getting it, getting it through. So there's a lot that has to go through it. Okay. When can Bitfarms do $10 USD to $15 USD? I think in this bull run, that's kind of what I'm still thinking here. And depending where Bitcoin goes on it. Plus, they need to just execute really well. Okay. So you look at Bitcoin right now. It shut up 1,000 in minutes and it's dropping a bit now. Did it drop a little bit? Let's see, did it shut up 1,000 also? See Bitcoin in the last minute. Well, I don't see that here. Let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. Well, yeah, it went up. This was back. What about? Oh, time was that? 7:30. 7:30 went up. Yeah, it did go up quite a bit here. Peaked at around 64,000 roughly, and it's been coming down here a little bit. A little bit of breather. It's not that bad. I probably should have pulled up my screen for you guys to see it. Okay. What is the explanation for this? Why would someone do that pump and dump? It's just, look at the chart here. We're getting a little bit overextended possibly, and you need a little bit of pullback. So you see here on the RSI on the 4-hour chart or the 15-minute chart was way up here. On the 1-hour chart, if we look at it, also was probably high, right? So it goes up, you need a little bit of pullback. It can still go up where the RSI kind of bounces up, but it still continues to go up much higher. But you need a little bit of pullback. Okay, let's go back here. Okay. I can't pronounce your name, so I'm sorry. Hi, Seb. It's 4:40 a.m. here. I just hope to say hi. Oh, well, thanks so much. I hope you had to wake up anyways for work or something. Started April this year buying miners. I have Cleanspark 11, Bitfarms at 210, Mar at 16. I know I could average down more, but cash is always the problem. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. It's taking me a long time. It's taking me 3 years to get to the positions that I have right now. So I completely understand. Let's see. 79 Satoshi, thank you for the update, Seb. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in. One more question, Seb. If BTC is exactly at 90,000, what would be your wild guess about Riot's price? How are their operations? Are their operations much better, closer to the 95% uptime? Then I would think they would be at least double to maybe triple from where they are right now. But if they're not, then they're possibly going to be lagging as well. So maybe they could get up to like $15, somewhere around there, $18 maybe. But I think we need to see much better operational uptime from them. Okay. Hi, Seb. I think the best investment would be Bitfarms and Hive because of their small market cap and they didn't dilute a lot. Well, Bitfarms has diluted a lot. Hive also has diluted, but they also did a reverse split when was this now? A year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. I'm thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know they did a reverse split. They would have been, actually, I think they would have had like the most shares outstanding right now of the miners if they didn't do that. Sib, you said you expect 3 to 5x performance for the miners in general. If Cleanspark and IREN only did 3x from here, that only gets them to 26, 28. Are you really thinking it could be that low? No, I'm thinking in the next, like this year, to the end of this year, potentially. If Bitcoin goes up to 100,000, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But if Bitcoin goes up to 150, 180,000, we could be much, much higher than that. Okay. Is the gap you were concerned with coming to be? I don't think so, no. Sim says, hi, Seb, you missed out my second question. I'm sorry if I did. Did I miss it? I thought I covered it. You asked about the explanation for this. Why would this pump and dump? I thought I covered that. And that's mainly because we were overextended a little bit here on the RSI. Need a little bit of pullback. Oh, and I feel like sneeze coming on too. Let's see. Do you think the documentary on Netflix has any impact on BTC price this week? I don't know how much truth there is to them finding out who the real Satoshi Nakamoto is. If they do, and he's still potentially alive, and if he still has the keys basically to Bitcoin, that could be a huge impact for it, because at any point that person could sell a large portion if they wanted to. But I don't think that's the case. Okay. Hey, Seb, what is the story about these ancient Bitcoin holders coming out alive from out of nowhere? They said if Satoshi even sells 1 Bitcoin from his 1 million stash, then we are screwed. Yeah, but then again, how much truth is there to it? That's the only thing that I have a question on. Yeah, but it wouldn't be good. If somebody has it, could somebody have gained access through brute force into it over the last 5-7 years? Maybe. I don't know. Hi, Seb. Cleanspark and Bitfarms, which one do you think have more upside potential? I think, well, I'll just say this. I think Cleanspark right now is more, not Cleanspark, sorry. Bitfarms right now is more undervalued than Cleanspark is. Now, given that, will it outperform Bitcoin? There's a lot of things that would have to play right for it. Investors, institutions would need to recognize that as fact, start buying a heck of a lot more. Their operations would have to improve as well, getting to 21 exahash, and then possibly 35, 40 exahash next year as well. So there's a lot of things that would need to be done on that, and maybe getting Hive off their back, not Hive, I'm thinking of Hive, getting Riot off their back as well. So time will tell, I guess. But I have my bets on those 3-4 miners there. Where are we seeing Riot and Bitfarms conflict in November? Where are we seeing Riot and Bitfarms conflict in November? Is it November? I can't remember now. It might be in November. The shareholder meeting that they're having and the votes on the additional board seat there, that's happening in November, I believe. Okay. Why share dilution drop stock price, but reversal split also drop stock price? Both do that, yeah. Dilution, you increase number of shares. And then also when you do a reverse split, a lot of times the investors think, okay, you're doing a reverse split, you're going to just dilute the crap out of me again. So that's kind of why. Okay. Why does Bitcoin like 67,300 so much? I think it's just the supports were maybe there from last cycle a little bit, and even this cycle a little bit. 62,700, yeah. I think there might be some supports there. Eric says, thank you very much, Seb. Guys, please hit the like button. Be grateful. Yep, appreciate it. Thank you. You're very welcome. Let's see. Brett says, MicroStrategy, BTC. Seb, miners are trash. Only. I mean, yeah, you can view it that way if you want. Song says it's on HBO and not Netflix. Okay, the documentary about who the real Satoshi Nakamoto might be. Brett says miners look weak. Well, if they look weak, that's kind of when you buy, right? If you follow the motto by, I think it was Warren Buffett, be greedy when others are fearful, be fearful when others are greedy, this would be a great time to be buying in possibly. What's a better buy right now, Cleanspark or IREN? I think they're both equally good buys right now. at these prices, especially. Okay, I think I'm catching up to all your guys' questions here. Okay, I don't think BlackRock and Vanguard will keep him alive if he is ever one person. Yeah, I don't think Satoshi, if it was one person or a group of people, I think I'm actually thinking, to be honest, I think that Satoshi was just an individual, part of a group that was creating this on it, and Satoshi either graciously gave this gift to the world, or for some reasons they passed away and left all the stuff that was in for everybody else. So yeah, that's it. So you got a couple more questions coming up here, and we'll call it a day. Okay. Just got here. Do you think we moving sideways still or taking off? I think we're going to be taking off here. Maybe this week's going to be maybe bouncy a little bit, but I think after that we should be doing much better. Oops, sorry, went up too fast. Hi Seb, my Cleanspark average is 15. Whether to DC or buy IREN, what would you do? Limited to, okay, I covered that question already for you. I would possibly buy some, since you already have Cleanspark on there, I would buy IREN right now, actually. Because it is such a low price, and if you have limited cash, the amount that you would average in would decrease it a little bit, but you might get a better deal on getting into IREN here. So are you saying we should not worry about these ancient Bitcoin holders coming alive? I don't know where. I think so. I think, yeah. I mean, unless I'm completely wrong on this, I don't think there's not much to worry about there. Let's see. Seb, since you changed your studio a little bit, BTC started a bull. The giraffe is lucky. There you go. We'll call Molly the lucky giraffe. Yeah, but that was kind of, well, coincidence, I guess you'd say. But yeah, that's it. All right, we'll call it a day here. We'll see what tomorrow brings us. And then we'll get into everything else that's happening. We got Core that still needs to report as well. I do appreciate you guys coming in here to watch all these. And I think, let's see where Bitcoin's at. Bitcoin's still holding pretty good right now. It's still hovering right around the 63,700, and that's because we have a support line there. That's one that I've joined in the past year where we have bounced off of that, or at least stopped there in the past. So that's kind of the support line right now. We might be battling with this. We might come down a little bit here more tomorrow, or today actually, or tomorrow, and then kind of fight our way through past this support or resistance line going forward. All right, but that's it. Thank you so much for coming in. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys have a wonderful week ahead. We got plenty of things to cover next week as well. We'll do CORZ if they report tomorrow. We'll also do like the monthly mining metrics for the miners. We'll look at other things as well. So stay tuned for that, and have a great week. I'll see you guys tomorrow.